Hello everyone, let's have ourselves a chat. I'm John from Rusty Chains, and today our chat is once again about the state of Payday 3. Today marks 1 year since the public release of the game. The ride has been kind of crazy since then. We've had really high highs and some incredibly low lows. But has it been enough for the game? Let's take a look together and examine the past, present, and hopefully the future of Payday 3. So looking at that past, the game launched last year with 8 heists, 17 guns, and 2 overkill weapons. Now, if you've spent no additional money post-launch, you have 11 heists, 19 guns, and 3 overkill weapons. The Silver Edition brings you up to 13 heists and 25 guns. Now that's basically in line with where Payday 2 launched, for reference. If you've got Payday 3's Gold Edition, you finished year 1 with 15 heists and 31 guns. I often forget about the different editions of the game. If you've got the Silver Edition, that's pretty much in line with what I expected for launch. And now Gold Edition has a fairly healthy amount of content. However, at absolute cheapest, unless it's on sale, that's still $50 over the base price of the game to get all of it. That's still a pretty deep ask to get the game to a content-rich experience. But has the content we've gotten post-launch been good? I mean, I would say so. We had 3 free heists post-launch. 2 of them, returning from Payday 2, are still as good as they've always been, while the 3rd free heist, the new Diamond District, is just incredible. I genuinely think it's the best post-launch heist in Payday 3, and probably in my top 3 for that game as a whole. That's awesome, because it shows they're willing to give out some bangers for free and not hide the best of their best behind a paywall. Now, as for those 4 paid DLCs, the heists have been, at worst, okay, like Boys in Blue or Fear and Greed. Syntax Error is really good, and Houston Breakout is another one in my top 3 in the game. All the weapons we've gotten post-launch have been great and either fill new roles or exceeded old ones to the point that power creep was on my mind with the most recent update. Clover and Houston have both rejoined the roster from Payday 2, and both are free of charge. Clover has better writing and crew interactions than ever before, and is my gold standard for how heisters in Payday 3 should be handled. Houston fell a bit short of this, with less interesting interactions, and some major inconsistencies in his character between games. Still, he's got his fans, so more power to them. There have been tons of outfits and masks as well. All pretty decent, but of course cosmetic stuff is up to the eye of the beholder. The present of the game is good. I've been saying for a few months now that I was pretty sure Payday 3 would end year 1 as the game it should have launched as. I'm pretty confident that it's hit that mark. Big system pain points are addressed. Adaptive armor eases a lot of the strain the initial armor system brought on the game, and we've got the in-depth plan for a full rework of the system that's coming down the pipe. Challenge-based progression has turned into actual EXP and bag-based systems like Payday 2, which was heavily requested at launch. We had a few new skill trees, the standout highlight being Assassin, and these new trees have a really unique feel and identity to them. They've put in work to make it a better, more fulfilling experience. And of course, there's the animations. They've been updating inspect animations for older guns, all the post-launch weapons are incredibly animated with fantastic inspects. The even bigger thing is almost every interaction in the game has a unique, contextual first-person animation. Not many games have this for so many things. It's insane, and it's so immersive and wonderful. It also just makes it a little harder for me to go back and play Payday 2, because it's a huge step down. I mean, the characters in those games just stare at deposit boxes and they pop open like they're fucking Magneto or something. The last year, of course, has not been entirely smooth sailing. There have been several poor choices made, and the game was very player hostile in its design for a long time. It required a giant community blow-up for the leadership of the game to change, and while we finally got there, it should not have required a major controversy for the developers to be willing to change on some of these issues. I get wanting to protect your vision, but when you give something over to a larger audience, all their wants and desires become part of shaping it. It's not just yours anymore. The game is finally in a functional and mostly fun state, and I'm excited about ideas of what's coming next, but I lament how many months we spent having to get here. I only wish I could see the timeline where Payday 3 was good out the gate, and we didn't need 7 months of Operation Medic Bag updates instead of content. We have new directors, but this is still the same studio that allowed the game to ship in this state and made these choices to begin with. And I don't blame anybody for factoring that in before they consider purchasing the game in the future. But, like I said, we're here. The first year is up. What does the future look like? Well, like I said, we have new directors. Almir and Andreas have taken the reins. These guys have both been with the series since 2011. I've spoken to them plenty of times. I've known them for almost 10 years at this point. They know Payday. They know what flies, what doesn't, and what Payday fans want. I'm sure they're the right picks to guide Payday 3 into a healthy year 2. But we don't know much about year 2. The roadmap we have ends in October. We have no idea what happens after that, and guess what? We're almost in October. The game's initial contract ends in March, and we don't know how Starbreeze or Plyon view the prospects of a renewal. So to answer the question one last time, do I recommend Payday 3? Yeah. This is a fun game that is getting better. They've put in the work, and I think it's finally to the point where it could almost be considered a worthy successor to Payday 2. But just be prepared that the future is still uncertain, and we don't know if the game will receive support after March of next year. That's the long and short of it. Payday 3 could have a short ride left, or it could span miles into the future. But whichever it is, I think Payday 3 is finally a ride worth taking. Do you all agree? Let us know in the comments below. We've got plenty more videos planned, so stick around. And until the next one, don't forget to spread that happy and stay rusty.